Hey everybody, it's Mike and Lebs again, back for part 2 of our World Cup review. This is the day before the final. If you are listening to this and you did not know that we were halfway through an episode and got cut off, then you need to go back to the previous episode that says part 1 and listen to that if you're going to listen to the whole thing. Otherwise, you can just pick up right here with us. And we're going to start right now. Mike, you were about to give us, when you got cut off, you're about to give us your thoughts on why Brazil lost to Belgium.
Okay. So you and I, am I coming through good?
You're coming loud and clear.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, you and I mean, it's like the conversation piece around Brazil. Like Firmino or Gabriel Jesus. And you had asked me, and I don't think you heard my answer, would this game have been different if Firmino had started? Or what did I believe? And I don't know. Firmino's a different player. He plays different. He drops back in the middle and he creates space for other players. So that's potentially something. He looked good in all the minutes I've seen him play. He looked effective. But what we've said about this Belgium team is when this team finally gets together with all the players they have, they're going to be good. And I think especially this first half, like it was Belgium's game. It was Belgium's ball, and they were just letting Brazil play with it. They totally bossed them in the midfield and every part of the game. Second half, Brazil looked a little bit better. They had some chances. Coutinho missed that. They had the headed goal, and Coutinho missed that one late in the game, and it just wasn't on their day. And I think Belgium deserved to win.
Yeah, I think they did too. And Brazil, how did Brazil go from looking so solid and have such a good midfield against Mexico, and then they didn't look like the same team to me against Belgium? I felt like Belgium, it's especially on the counterattack though, and that kind of does make sense. Mexico didn't get on them on the counterattack like they should have, and that was one of Mexico's strong points was the counterattack.
Right. Yep.
But man, watching Kevin De Bruyne lead the counterattack against Belgium was so beautiful. And those of you guys who are rooting for Belgium, who are not City fans, but you were rooting for Belgium, you got a taste of what we City fans enjoy on a week in and week out basis watching this guy play. And City doesn't counterattack very often, but when we do, when you've got Kevin De Bruyne driving through the midfield with that ball, and he's pointing at people, directing them where to go, it is unbelievable, especially when you know that he can blast an absolute rocket of a right or a left shot with either. Yeah. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I'm as anyone who listens to this podcast knows, I think he's the best midfielder in the world. I'm totally biased, I admit that, and I know Luka Modric after this World Cup definitely is probably the best midfielder in the world, but I'm sticking by Kevin because he scores more goals. But man, it was amazing watching him, and he dominated the game. He was man of the match for this game. I'm like 99% sure that he was. And
he was just stroking it around beautifully in his goal, and
yeah,
stepped up big.
Yeah, he did.
This World Cup.
He did. So why then were they not able to beat France? Let's jump ahead. Why did France beat them?
I mean, for me, I think the midfield matched up really well and was able to nullify Belgium in the way that Brazil couldn't. I think that's like my thesis statement on that. With the powerful players they have for France, just to make them uncomfortable, not as comfortable on the ball.
So you've got a midfield of N'Golo Kanté, Paul Pogba,
yes,
and with Griezmann dropping back in there, Matuidi on the left wing, and then Mbappe was dropping back a lot as well. I mean, they definitely France had the guys to win the midfield. But the biggest difference I felt like, and I honestly, as I'm watching that game, I'm sitting here thinking if they played this game 10 times, I think it could be 50-50 on who wins it.
Yeah,
they
were
agree. Super evenly matched. And the difference ended up being a goal off of a set piece.
Yeah.
And sometimes that bums me out when it doesn't go my way because I was rooting for Belgium. I'm rooting against France consistently, just because I decided to. It bums me. It bums me out when it's a when it's a 1-0 game and the one goal was off of a corner. I'd like a goal from open play because goals off corners, yes, they matter. And there's been a ton of goals off set pieces in this World Cup, a ton, but they don't feel like you earned it quite as much as it does when it's from open play. Am I wrong feeling that way?
Man, and also I think that's what we're going to see tomorrow. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to come down to that. Does Umtiti win the award for the most casual celebration for a? I'm like, dude just scored the winner in like 68th minute, and he's just like doing this kind of like little shoulder dance here, and I'm like, that is so okay, whatever. Like that's his life. He's like, that's cool.
He's cool.
He's
a chill dude though. Like I like him. He's laid back, you know.
I like to see players absolutely lose their fucking minds when they score,
bro.
and that's up there, you know.
Yeah. Well, the number one for me, and I said this last episode or the first half of this episode. The number one for me is Vincent Kompany. When Vincent Kompany scores, he looks like his head is going to explode, and his head is he's Megamind is what they call him. His head is so big that if it blew up, it would be like a nuclear bomb going off, and that's what it looks like.
Snap!
He loses his
I love it.
mind. So I do love that. When they're celebrating so hard, you can tell they don't even know what to do. They're just it's beautiful.
What about when John Brooks scored the winner against Ghana? He laid down and cried. He tried to run and he just like fell down, started crying. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking and I didn't say earlier about Mexico?
What's up?
It's the squad rotation. Asadio with the squad rotation. He takes it way too seriously to his detriment. He brought his wife and his mistress to the World Cup. Like he's rotating the squad every day.
Oh my gosh. This episode of Dirty Talk brought to you by Mike and Lebs.
I mean, like,
yes.
You don't care.
Yeah. Wow.
Whatever you want.
Oh, okay. England beats Sweden in the semifinals, and at that point, England fans around the world, and we finally come to something I've been looking forward to talking to you about. England fans around the world were convinced that it was coming home. Mike, how did you? What was
coming
on a percentage of 1 to 100%? How confident were you that it was coming home after England beat Sweden?
No. I didn't think they were going to win it.
Yeah, same. I didn't either.
The team didn't look. They never convinced me. Like it. I look at that team and I say, hey, that's a group of. In every position, you got a 6.5 out of 10 player. But there's no.
Except maybe Kane.
Yeah. But there's just no players like Xherdan Shaqiri, or there's no like Cavani, there's no.
You would bring up Shaqiri right now.
And there's no Kevin De Bruyne.
Right.
Like every great team's got a player. Like when you're against the run of play, or you. Whatever, like just to score a banger, score that goal, get that goal out. And like England doesn't have that player. They've got the 6.5 out of.
For those of you that don't know, he brings up Shaqiri because Liverpool just signed him yesterday, so he's completely
for $13 million, 26-year-old international superstar.
It's an absolute steal. I freely
Jurgen
admit
Klopp said, this is a no-brainer.
It is.
Why would you not?
It is a no-brainer.
Correct.
You got it. You also were able. He had the reason you got him so cheap is because his release clause was so cheap, and that's poor business on what was it, Stoke, right? That he was with. I know this is a huge digression, but I have to let our listeners know, if they didn't already, why you brought up Shaqiri, and you know I love Shaqiri. So when he's smashing bangers against City, I'm gonna revoke my love for him. But I love him. He's a phenomenal player.
Why was someone else trying to sign him, or did we just not know about it?
Why didn't anybody else try to sign him? City didn't try to sign him because we went out
But
and
I mean,
signed Mahrez.
Stands though, right? Like Switzerland, sort of a deep thing is you might get like I don't guarantee him playing for clubs. Klopp would gain his playing time, and I believe that.
Yeah.
And I don't think those other clubs would have guaranteed that.
He's a stud. He could play for most teams. Anyway, we're digressing super hard. Let's go back, please. England.
You know what I mean, though? Like when he plays for Switzerland, they can be playing an awful game, whatever, come up with a set piece, come up with a top corner curler. Like,
Right.
England doesn't have that player for me. It's not that explosive. Sterling, he's a player. Sterling's a great player. And he gave man.
He gave Sweden?
He had a good World Cup, but he needs support.
He's
got to score. Player. He's not, like Messi.
He has to score. He had so many chances. I love Raheem Sterling as much as anyone. I bleed for Raheem Sterling. I fight for Raheem Sterling on this podcast constantly. He has got to score. He's driving me insane. It's so hard. And I shout out to Haba, who Haba, I always love when you send us messages on social media. He's been sending us messages on Instagram, direct messaging us, and he's like, "Oh, Sterling looks so good. He just needs a goal." And I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on with him. He scores a lot of goals for City. Yes, he scores a lot of tap-ins, but he also puts goals away when he's in on the keeper one-on-one. Not as many as he should, but he'll do it 50% of the time, maybe 35% of the time. But it's like 100% of the time when he's one-on-one with the keeper for this English side, he is not going to put it away. And it is maddening because every other part of his game is amazing. His hold-up play is so good. His passing is so good. His work rate, he tracks back. He makes intelligent runs. He does everything right, but then when it comes down, I think he's scared. I think this constant berating of him by the media, by the fans, I think he's terrified to shoot and miss. I think he's terrified to look selfish because he knows he's going to get tarred and feathered, and the white hooded caps of the English Ku Klux Klan are going to appear at his doorstep of his mom's house where he bought her a sink that was too expensive. And it's just, I feel like this is England's own fault, to be honest, that he is this way. But I'm very frustrated about it. I needed to get that off my chest. I love him. I want to buy a jersey with his name on it, but I won't do it until isn't that terrible though? I won't do it until he really makes me proud or something. I mean, I just don't know.
You don't trust him. Jerseys are tough, man. I get it.
I don't trust him. I don't, and I want to so badly.
He's a quality kid, man. What is he? Is he 22?
Yeah, he's 22 years old. He's got tons of time left. He's like that. He's like that teenager that you just want to smack him. Be like, "Hey, wake up! I know you're a teenager, so you're dumb." But he's not a teenager, But go ahead.
I love your point because I totally forgot about it. I was listening to a pre-Cup World podcast, Football Weekly, and Barry's on there. And they listed the last 4 World Cups. Every time the English media targets a player, one of their own players, and release these tabloids about them, and they also leak their own lineups.
Yeah.
And Barry's just like, it's just utter nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Like, why are you sabotaging your own national team? You need to support your players.
So
it's bizarre.
Then the meltdown after they lose the game against Croatia. It's embarrassing. Online was it was insane. It's like 3/4 of the football fans on the internet are England fans. What do you
think of Southgate?
Why is that? I think he's fantastic. His substitutions.
Yeah, I hope they keep him.
I do too. He's gotten a lot of crap for his substitutions. I understand that. I think the reason that he substituted the players that he did is because you saw consistency in his subs. He consistently took Sterling off, and he consistently brought Rashford on for Sterling, which is a very like-for-like substitution. But I think he's afraid as well. I think he's like, well, this has worked. For our last couple games, Rashford has come in, and he's looked bright, and he's given us, opportunities to score. But he should have made more tactical substitutions because Croatia's midfield was destroying England, and England weren't getting any chances. Harry Kane was basically invisible the entire game. And
Kane did not have a good last 2 games of the Cup. It wasn't.
He's got to be serviced. They got to get balls up there to him. He can't do it completely by himself.
That's not his game. Correct.
Yeah. And I even was thinking about the player that they should have brought on, and I'm totally blanking right now. Hang on, let me look at the bench here. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek.
Oh man, he had a great season.
He had a great
good
World
Cup
Cup
too.
Why would you sub on Rashford when you're losing it? You need that person to connect the midfield and the attack. And I said from the very beginning that Jesse the cartoon boy Lingard was not going to cut it. We said it on this podcast. He was not going to cut it, and he did not cut it. That's the issue. They should have Ruben Loftus-Cheek should have been brought on, and I think he would have helped a lot more than Rashford would have.
I think him, and I think that there's 2 players who didn't make this squad for different reasons that would have made a difference for this team. And one of them, this team was crying out for Adam Lallana, a creative midfielder who will take the ball and bring it up. And, he just wasn't fit. Like, it just is what it is. He didn't have a good season as far as being fit. And then I think, and for whatever reason, Jack Wilshere not getting enough playing time and things like that, I think he would have been good for this team. Ball hold up, creativity and passing, because you end up relying on players like Eric Dyer and Jordan Henderson. And, Henderson is a maker, but he's deep.
Yeah.
He's not the player that's going to play on the edge of the box and, be really direct and connecting that midfield to attack.
And
so
he's on a 1 to 10 creativity for him is probably a 2 or a 3. I'm not downing him. He does other things really well, but he's not a super creative player. And
he's like kind of your box to box midfielder, basically.
Right.
But at Liverpool, he doesn't carry the creativity load. He'll put your crosses and stuff in, but that's not his role. But that was his role for England, and it just doesn't.
By the way, put Dele Alli on the milk cartons because, oh my gosh, he was invisible this World Cup. The whole time. Nothing from him. Everybody wants to give Sterling crap, but at least he's making a difference. You can see what he's doing. He's visible. He wants the ball. Dele did nothing all tournament. Trippier did have a good tournament, though.
Here's my...
Go ahead. Talk to me about Dele.
Woo! Yes, he did, man. Yeah. Trippier, that goal, he had a great tournament. Good for him.
Yep.
Here's my overall thing with the England team. Just kind of above average, not spectacular. I think they should be proud. Semi-finals, that's a great showing. I think Southgate. This is a big opportunity missed, though. You'll never see an easier path to the final, ever. I've never seen it like that for a team. And I think it's bad juju, too, because that game against Belgium, the final group game, when England subbed everybody off, basically, and had kind of a B team out there and played to not win. And how do they finish the World Cup? They finished the World Cup by playing Belgium in the 3rd place match and getting beat outright,
Yeah. Which I don't even want to talk about because I don't even know anybody that watched it. Who cares,
Why do we play it?
That game should
maybe
not
at one
exist.
point I think at one point maybe that game mattered when we didn't have all these competitions and Euros and what's the Confederations Cup? Maybe at one point we didn't have enough football. But no one cares. The players don't care. They don't want to play in it.
I don't know anybody who cares at all. I don't care. And I care more about worthless games than anybody.
Executives about or some executives too or something like that. It's not a game for.
Nah, it's worthless.
But England wanted to take the easier path, and they end up losing their final game to Belgium anyways. I just think that's so ironic.
Yeah. And then
Isn't it ironic?
Croatia. We've spent all this time talking about England, and we haven't really talked about Croatia. So we're getting to the end here. Let's talk about the final, and let's start it off with. I want you to wax elegant about the team that you have championed since the beginning of this tournament, the team that you said were the dark horse of this tournament. I give you full credit. You called it. Enjoy it. Have a minute.
First of all, I want to thank everyone that made this possible. All my generous sponsors, Mom, Dad, I love you so much. I mean, this is a team that believes in what they're doing. They believe in what they're doing. They believe in their coach. I mean, by the way, population of 4.2 million. Like, I mean, it's a small country relatively. And you've got Modric and Rakitic in there, two world-class players, superstars, but they're not playing like a superstar, so to speak. Like, Neymar plays like a superstar. He's like, I'm going to get my piece. I'm going to get my part in the game. These two facilitate for everyone on this team. And you've got these two wingers. You've got Perisic. I think his name is Rebic. Is that who plays on the other wing?
Yep.
I can't remember.
Yep. That's it.
These two guys are like two of the most aggressive wingers I've seen. They're fast. They're strong. They're super powerful in the air. And it just comes together. Mandzukic, not the most creative player, but he is a player, like within a match, you can watch him and he'll dig, find another level, dig deep, find another level. And I think the goal capitulates that. Like, I mean, we're in extra time, and the dude's still running his ass off. He's chasing, hounding every ball. And England just kind of fell asleep for half a second, and that's the difference, and not going to penalties and losing that match. And then you've got, I mean, we got to talk about someone who's had an incredible World Cup, who's gotten so much crap in the past.
I knew this was coming.
He's fallible. He's human. I mean, people are super aggressive to him on social media. They've threatened to kill his family and stuff. I mean, like, which is what people do. Not normal people. No one who's normal.
Just Twitter trolls.
And he's had an incredible World Cup. Dejan Lovren, I hope you're listening. I love you so much. I follow you on Instagram. I mean, he was crying after the match. It means everything to him. And he posted that Klopp called him. I mean, come on, bromance. Called him and said, you know that I always believed in you and I knew you were this player. And that's what he's done. Like, look, all right, I'm almost done with my rant. You gave me my airtime. I got 30 more seconds.
Okay.
Look what Liverpool did. They finally got him a stable strike partner, and the dude's flourished. Like, he just needs some stability around him, and that's what this Croatian team is. It's him back there, and you got Vida. You got a Subasic, super competent goalkeeper. This is just a team that has so much desire and plays so hard for each other. And I mean, like, you said it, like, when? When are they going to get tired? How does a team play so many minutes of extra time? And you're watching the match against England, first half, like, Croatia's going to wear out. Like, this Croatian team has this grit, just like I was describing Mandzukic. They dig deep, find a way, dig deep, another level, elevate. And I guess you go first. Give me your spill on how you think tomorrow's game is going to be. I want to hear your head first, and then tell me about.
No, you're on a roll. Tell me, convince me that they're going to win tomorrow. Keep going. That was beautiful. I'm applauding. That was fantastic. Give me another one. Convince me why they're going to beat France tomorrow, because I want to believe so bad that they can do it.
Why? I'll tell you why. Because Ivan Rakitic, he had an interview, and he said, I would give up everything in my career right now to win the World Cup. If I had to play with one leg, I would play. That's why they're going to win. That's what my heart says. This team will dig. They will show passion. They'll be in there for every tackle, every minute. And it'll be the most incredible World Cup final for someone who doesn't like France. The French will be devastated.
Who cares?
But France has a lot of quality.
Yeah, they do.
And that concerns me. Croatia's they're going to have to dig deep and find that level again. They're going to have to dig deep and find another level. But, I mean, they've won 2 penalty shootouts. They've won a game in extra time. They beat Argentina 2-0. Like, they're not interested in underdog talk or anything like that. Like, they believe in each other.
So, I have to make a confession. I don't like Kylian Mbappe. I don't like him. Don't like him at all.
Is it because of more than one reason, or is it for one very specific thing?
It's not because I'm a racist, because I'm not a racist at all. I'm just going to go straight there. Has nothing to do with that. It
Is it being a shithouser?
yes, and I don't like him for the same reason I don't like Neymar. Just quit
Tell me the
just
worst.
quit rolling around. Just get up and play, for crying out loud.
I mean, it's kind of funny with the time wasting. It was a little bit comical, and I didn't like it. I wanted France to lose. But you're talking about like when he picked the ball up and like ran away and then started dribbling it.
He's everything that I hate about this generation of footballers. He's everything that I
God,
hate with his
no.
and it's
so
why
good.
and it's why I don't like Paul Pogba. Just and maybe it's because I'm old school. That's got to be what it is. I just want somebody like Kevin De Bruyne who goes out, who works hard, who doesn't have to have a fancy haircut, who just puts in a shift, says reasonable and decent things about people, which is what Kevin De Bruyne consistently
James
does.
Milner. Yes, I agree too.
And I just want to see both examples of those are white people. So again, I'm trying to not bring this back to
Not
race.
racist.
N'Golo Kante. N'Golo Kante is the epitome of what I want from a footballer. The hardest working guy you could ever want. Gives heart and soul every single game, 100%, and he doesn't care about himself. He's unselfish. That's what it is. That's what it is. Football is a beautiful game because it's an unselfish game. It's a game about passing. It's a game about working together as a team. It's not like basketball where you can have an Allen Iverson or a Kobe Bryant who can just carry an entire team based off shooting 50 times in a game. It is a game where you have to pass. You have to have someone passing you the ball in order to win. And that's what the footballers that I love exemplify. Kylian Mbappe does not exemplify that. Even though he does pass, even though he is an incredible player, he just drives me insane because you can tell it's all about him. It's all about ego. And I think that's what Esteban was getting at about this France squad and about why he doesn't like them specifically. He talked soulless, blah, blah, blah. I think more or less it comes down to that they're everything that we dislike about this generation of footballers with the social media, the attention seeking, the flopping, the constant just ridiculousness. And I just want it to stop. I want a hardworking group of people who play for each other. Oh my gosh, yeah. I want a hardworking group of. I'm not even going to say that because that's not what I mean. But oh man, of course we immediately took it to race. But I tell you what, it is interesting when you look at it. The diversity of France versus Croatia. It's going to be a black versus white game in a way.
That's why I didn't. No, I'm kidding. Oh man, he's so good though.
So good.
He's 19. He's so good.
He's a phenom, and I'm going to get sick of him because he's so good. It's going to be in my face constantly about how good he is.
Man, with Madrid selling Ronaldo, I hope they go and spend all the money on him. I'd love to see him in Madrid.
I wouldn't because
PSG.
He's going to lead them to another Champions League final. And I'm sick of it. I don't want Real Madrid in the Champions League final anymore. It needs to be done. Somebody else, please. Manchester City, come on. It's our time.
Hey, you know what? This is something I wanted to talk about, and you just made me think of it because my thought patterns are really logical. Edison Cavani.
Yeah.
Just a little short spill. Let's compare leaders, quote unquote, at a World Cup. So Edison Cavani, captain of PSG. Neymar, superstar extraordinaire, spaghetti haircut, PSG, leader of Brazil, quote unquote. Look at the difference of those two players for their national teams. It's just remarkable for me. That's what a leader is. And Neymar is not a leader. You talk about selfish players, man.
Oof.
And he goes to PSG, and Edison's been there for a while, and Neymar demands to take the penalties and demands this.
Yep.
And Cavani just works.
Yep. Great shout. Fantastic shout. My heart is rooting.
Give me your head and give me your heart.
Thank you. That was about. My heart says Croatia. My head says France all day. Croatia are going to run out of gas. It's going to happen. They can't. There's just no way. They have played so many more minutes Did you see the stat on how many kilometers? I totally just blanked. Modric. Did you see how many kilometers Modric has ran so far this World Cup? It's insane.
No.
Backroom staff, can we get that?
So, let me guess.
They're pulling that up.
Let me guess. So I've seen stats. A player with a decent game will run maybe about 7 to 9 kilometers in a match. So I'm going to say, how many matches has he played? 1, 2, 3. He's played 6 matches. So 8 times. Oh, man, I got to do math on the air. This isn't good. Has he ran 50 kilometers?
More. Guess again. More.
Holy.
How many?
Has he ran 62 kilometers?
He's more by 1. He's ran 63 kilometers this World Cup. That's 39.
My God.
Over 39 miles. He's going to run out of gas. The only way that I see Croatia winning is if they get ahead by 2 goals, and they're still ahead by 2 goals in the 60th minute. If they're ahead by 2 goals in the 60th minute, I think they can win. If they're ahead by 2 goals going into halftime, I bet France can score 2 goals in that second half. But Croatia's only
Yeah, Mourinho had a good point. He came out and said that the 2 semifinalists should play on the same day.
Yeah. That was a good point. That one of the few good points that Mourinho makes is that he thinks that it's unfair how much more rest France has had 1 more day of rest, and it is unfair, especially
makes a difference,
especially since Croatia has went into extra time. I
mean,
the only way they win is if they play a very tight game and they don't let France have the ball very much. But France are going to play without the ball and counterattack, so that's probably going to play into France's hands.
Man, Croatia has played 3 matches of extra time. They've actually played a full extra football match than France.
Yeah.
France has not had a game in extra time.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the emotions? 2 games on penalties, which when you go into penalties, you quote unquote believe you're going to win, but it's like a flip. Who knows what's going to happen in a penalty?
Yeah.
And then you win in the second half of extra time against England. That's so much emotion.
Yeah. So I give Croatia like a 20% chance to win. I think it's an 80% certainty that France win tomorrow. I really do. How about you? What's your opinion on this?
What's your score prediction?
2-1 France.
Man, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. It's going to be tight.
So you know what I'm going to say instead?
What?
2-1 Croatia.
Oh, I like it.
I actually don't know what this game's going to look like. I have no idea, which is interesting. Like you said, surely France is here to stay with their passion and their work, because they didn't show it in the group stage, but they have in the knockout. But Croatia are going to have to run their ass off to close down and not give that midfield any time on the ball.
Right. So
they've got to shut Mbappe down.
They've got to control the ball, and that's what France wants. That's the thing. I think that Croatia's style might play into France's hands is what I'm worried about.
Yeah, and one of the hopes that Croatia has is that this is mean, but Olivier Giroud is a starting striker for France.
Right.
Like, that's good for Croatia.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's a limiting factor for me on this team. He doesn't, Yeah. And I saw this really sad video where he walked out to sign an autograph, and there's a crowd of people, and no one wanted his autograph.
Oh.
They're like, oh, where's the other lads?
Yeah.
Like, can we we'll get Umtiti's autograph for the goalie, but we don't.
Oh, that's so.
That's what you think's gonna happen? You think it's gonna be 2-1 France?
2-1 France. I've convinced myself. That France is gonna win, and then I'm going to. The bad guys always win. I know it's mean to say they're bad. They're not bad guys, but I never wanted them. This whole World Cup, I was never rooting for them. I perennially root against France. Visiting France just really solidified that I don't like that country very much.
Do they deserve it? The French fans.
Do they deserve the win, or do they deserve losing?
Do they deserve to win the World Cup?
No!
They don't seem very grateful.
No! They're not. It's not a grateful culture. Not from what
Man,
I've experienced.
I really thought Belgium was going to beat them. I
I did
truly
too.
believed that.
I did too.
I did not see France in the final.
And again, it's one goal off of the corner, and France played
So
really,
disappointing.
really well though in that game. Like it was, at the end, Belgium are just doing everything they can, and France looked defensively solid, which is not something I've said about this French side at all.
I
But
just can't stand their attitude. That game against Denmark in the group stage, their coach came out and said, "Well, Denmark's going to play defensively. We've already won the group, so why should we bother?"
yeah,
I'm like, "Because it's the World Cup."
yeah,
But I mean, I get it. I get what he's saying, but there's an arrogance in that for me. Like,
yes,
we're better than that.
yeah, absolutely. Well, anything else you want to talk about? You got any good music you want to share with the people, or I guess since we're gonna play the song that you recommended, why don't we do a quick music corner?
All right. Let me think. You go first.
Okay. Um. All right. I actually am gonna branch out and talk about Post Malone's Stoney album.
Ooh.
I don't think the majority of our listeners are big Post Malone fans. The reason I bring this up also is because I just turned 28, and my best friend, he and his wife came to visit for July 4th, and they come up to me, and his wife says, "Caleb, do you listen to Post Malone? Do you know who he is?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm a fan." And she's like, goes to my buddy Spencer, and he's like, he knows who he is, and he goes, "Of course he does." And I was like, "Why? Like I don't understand." And he goes, "Bro, because the other day somebody was like, 'Dude, do you listen to Post Malone?'" And he goes, "No, who is that? I don't even know who that is." And he was like, "Bro, I'm too old. I'm too old for that. Like I don't listen to that. That's like that new kid." And I'm just like, "Bro, you're not too old to listen to Post Malone, but I understand that,
That
he's."
feels kind of basic, man. I don't ever want to be that limited.
I know, exactly. Shout out Spencer, you're basic. This Post Malone album is.
Spencer, those were my words. I feel like they were used against me, even though I used them. I used them exactly as he quoted me, so I actually don't know what to say. Okay, continue.
This Post Malone album is pretty good though. It's the 2016 Stoney album. He's got a newer one out, but the Stoney one is the one that I've listened to. It is. It's like a white guy doing rap music, but you wouldn't really know he's a white guy listening to it. So it's cultural appropriation at its worst, which is why I think he's hated by a lot of the true rap community. But I tell you what, if you enjoy modern hip hop, he's got some jams on there. I've gotten stuck on a bunch of his tunes that have been, unfortunately, the ones I like really are the ones that have been on the radio. But like Congratulations, I could jam Congratulations. In fact, I'm gonna probably jam Congratulations tonight because I'm rolling down to Houston and I feel like it's appropriate. But anyway, for those of you guys who haven't listened to Post Malone's Stoney album, it's worth a listen for sure. A lot of catchy tunes. What you got, Mike?
I'm on a kick. Uh, Hootie and the Blowfish,
Oh,
right?
throwback.
So extend a little bit further. Darius Rucker. I've been listening to all of his country music. I don't know what my deal is.
Nice.
So good though. And he had like that terrible national anthem.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
It happens.
so yeah.
I love Hootie and the
Hey,
Blowfish
I have
was
a question.
definitely a part of my high school experience. Yeah, what's up?
If we can get Hank on it, I'm curious because I actually have no idea. What are we looking at for Golden Boot right now?
I think it's Hank. Can you look that up for us? He's on it.
Fucking A, man. He should have had that already. Anyways,
Let's see.
give me your.
It's looking like Harry Kane is the most likely for it. Hang on, Hank's
That's so
still
weak.
compiling it for us. I'm sorry.
So I want to give a shout out to a player, and I think this guy, we kind of had forgotten who he was. Eden Hazard. That was. Oh, that's what I want to talk. That Brazil match when Brazil were kind of looking like they were going to come back and score. That dude carried Belgium for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He took the ball. He was doing dribbles, holding onto it. It got to the point where they had to deliberately foul him because no one could touch him. The dude seems to have got his mojo back. Which is cool because he had a good season in the Premier League, but the year before that, when Chelsea went off the rails, he had a poor season. So I'm glad to see that he can be a total punk with like the antics with diving and stuff.
Yep.
But he's an incredible world-class player. He's incredible.
He is, and I don't think anybody doubts that. Harry Kane has 6 goals. He's 2 ahead of Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Denis Cheryshev from Russia. So I think Harry Kane pretty much has in the bag. Griezmann has 3, and Mbappe has 3. So if either of those guys score 4 goals in the game tomorrow, which I really doubt, then they could top Harry Kane. But it's looking like it's going to be him.
It's wild. Like, have we?
3 of those
that
goals
feels like undeserving.
3 of those goals of Kane's are penalties. So.
And 2 of them are unmarked headers.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other one was. Probably a header.
Kane's only goal from open play. Ruben Loftus-Cheek's low strike deflects off his heel and sails into the back of the net. If that's not the most appropriate Harry Kane goal, we love to hate on Kane. So the Spurs fans that listen to this probably aren't happy about that. Harry Kane's incredible. We like to give him a hard time. Mike, I'm gonna give.
I can't. All joking aside. Go ahead.
No,
I just want to say one more bad thing about Kane, and I'll stop.
Okay.
All joking aside, anyone who swears on his daughter, you're.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. Like, I just don't get it. Does he have that much ego?
Well, it's just not in good taste. I don't think, in the Bible there's a story about a guy who makes an oath. He comes back from war and he swears to God. He says, "God, thank you so much for this victory. The first thing to come out of my house, I will sacrifice it to you." And of course it was his daughter. And and the Bible teaches that as a lesson, like, don't swear on your kids. Like, there's just no reason. It's just a bad idea. Like, just don't do it.
All right, give me your shout out.
Well, this is going to take us out of here. Everybody, thanks for listening so much. This is a band that I listened to in high school, and Mike brought them up that he's been listening to them lately. They're very good. Thank you for this 2-part podcast. I know it's been long, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be putting out a lot more pods in the future. EPL is almost back, so the next pod will be a World Cup wrap-up pod. We're going to have a bunch of guests on, hopefully, and do a nice roundtable discussion. If y'all would, please send us some questions that you want and topics you want discussed for that World Cup roundup pod. And I hope you guys enjoy the final and go Croatia. This song is called First by Cold War Kids. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks, everybody.
Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Not after that.
Till the end.